Don't try to be professional. Which professional? Which professional?
Ramses started in Liberia, West Africa, and today I will be presenting my country history and culture to you all. I hope that you will learn a lot about my country history and also the culture. So once again, I'd like to say thank you all for coming and welcome to Liberia.
Welcome to the man.
Okay, before I proceed further, I will let you all to please stand up as we sing the national anthem of my country.
Oh, it's a video. Okay.
Welcome to Liberia. We are very sorry the national anthem of Liberia, and I would like for you to please support the introducing
Experience our culture. Experience our natural beauty. Experience our beaches.
Dig ya, don't. Back.
Experience our hour.
Come on.
Experience our wildlife.
That video is actually
Where's that?
a video trying to welcome you to Liberia. Different things that you experience if you go to Liberia, our wildlife, our beaches, our culture, our children, and so forth. And I also prepared this video for you also to watch and see what are some of those things that you ought to know about Liberia. If you travel to Liberia, some of those places that you can go to experience the beauty of Liberia. So please watch this video and also you can learn more about Liberia.
Welcome to the greenest country in Africa. The Republic of Liberia is a strong, free and welcoming nation. Liberia is the home to modern cities, broad rainforests, sandy beaches, great historical places and a great business climate. Cities. There has never been a better time to visit Liberia. Thanks to the growing strength of its economy and the improved infrastructure, the country is now safer and easier to travel around than ever before. An international airport is an essential part of the infrastructure of a country. It fosters economic activities by encouraging international commerce and tourism, as well as generating employment. A well-facilitated airport increases accessibility to the public, which in turn fuels the tourism sector. The Liberian cities feature a comfortable and secure public transport network. Forest. We recommend you to stay in the 5-star eco-resort near the famous Sapo National Park. Did you know that Sapo has the highest mammal species diversity of any region in the world? Beaches. Liberian beaches are perfect. The Liberian coastline is 580 kilometers long, with more than half of that being superb sandy beaches. Liberia's ocean coastline, its huge waves and rich underwater life, is a magnet and #1 destination for divers and surfers from all over the world. Historical places. Liberia is full of historically important monuments, and these have a story to tell about the Republic's rich and varied past. Adventures. Liberia is one of the greenest countries in Africa. Forests cover 40% of its territory. Find even more adventures here. Surf, dive, jump, climb, and camp. Business. Liberia's status as an emerging market makes it an ideal place for entrepreneurship. With the constant influx of new residents from every corner of the world, new markets are constantly opening. The Liberian government strongly supports entrepreneurs. Liberia seeks to motivate young Liberian leaders to become an integral part of the region's economy. Welcome to Liberia.
Okay, once again, I'd like to say welcome to Liberia.
How many times?
Move now to an overview of the history of Liberia. As As you look up there, Liberia is a country in West Africa and was founded, established, and controlled by citizens of the United States and ex-Caribbean states for free, for African American slaves and their free black descendants. You can read the rest. Okay, just to explain what they are saying there, Liberia as a country during the 19th century, there was slavery ongoing in America and other parts of the world. And so the whites decided to put stop to slavery. Slavery is where you take another human being and make them to work for you without paying them to use them as animals. So they decided to put a stop to slavery. And now, to get these people who are working for them on their plantations, on their farms and whatsoever, at their factories, they needed to repatriate these people or to bring them back to where they took them from. But then they didn't know where to put them because at the time they went different parts of the world, they took human beings, they took them to America, to France, to Great Britain, in order for them to work for them as slaves. And so when they decided to put an end to slavery, they think that these people, most of them, they were blacks. Okay? And Africa being one of the continents that was most referred to as the dark continent because of the race of people who were living there, because majority of people that lived in Africa was black. And those slaves were black. So they decided that, okay, we'll take them to Africa. So when they came to Africa, they came on a settlement called Duco.
People that don't have money
it wasn't like Europe, it was called Duco. And that's how they landed there and they put those slaves and those people that they left living there at the time agreed for the slaves to live with them. And so they lived together as one. They didn't care if they were slaves, the people were with them. And that's how Liberia began formed. Okay, through the slaves that came and met the people that was already on the ground. And on the colony, but then it wasn't like Europe, it was called Duco. In the world, there are two countries that accepted those slaves, Liberia and Sierra Leone, like you see there. They were the only two countries that accepted the slaves to come and live with them, not just to live with them as slaves, but to live with them as people that from their country, because at the time, they were all blacks, and they decided that they are blacks, there is no need for us to discriminate them, okay? That's how Liberia became founded. So, like I said, it is the only American colony in Africa. Liberia as a country, being formed by free slaves from America, America has power over Liberia as our country. Okay, we look up to America for most of our political advices. Almost everything that we do, our culture and other things, we imitate from America. Okay?
利比亚呢是西非的一个国家，它曾经呢是一些政治大国的殖民地，但是呢，然后它是美国在非洲唯一的一块殖民地，然后在1847年7月26日呢，它在这个统一。
You just keep like this. 5 minutes. I'll give you back my hand, please. 5 minutes. 5 minutes.
Liberia, from July 26, 1847 up to this year, makes Liberia 172 years of existence. Okay, so it's the oldest country in Africa. Okay, like I said, Liberia is a country that was formed from free slaves from America. So we do most of our things cooperating from America. The name Liberia came from a Latin word "liber," which means free. Liberia is the home of free Afro-American slaves. So you will know that the slaves that came to Liberia, they were free slaves. So there was no name to give Liberia at the time. So the slaves decided that we gave the name Liberia, which came from a Latin word "liber," and "liber" means free. So whenever you hear Liberia, you should just think about free.
利比亚这个名字呢，来自于拉丁语，它的意思呢是解放。
Okay, like I explained in the beginning, was founded by slaves from slaves from America, at the end of the abolition of slavery. So the history of Liberia as a political entity begins with the arrival of black African settlers, American settlers. They are American Liberians, as they were known, who established a colony of free men of color on this show in 1822 under the auspices of the American Colonization Society. The American Colonization Society, you can see that the ACS, this was an organization formed in America to bring back those free slaves that they decided to free. And when they came, at the time, it was in 1822 that they founded Liberia.
从美国移民过来的一些奴隶呢建立的，然后。
Okay, Monrovia. Monrovia is the capital city for Liberia. It was named in honor of the 5th president of America. His name is James Monroe. Okay, so this will tell you the history of Liberia to America. Okay, James Monroe was the 5th president of America at the time when Liberia was founded. That's why they named the capital after him, James Monroe. And as a prominent supporter of the colonization of Liberia, the American started, along with Washington DC, is one of the 2 national capitals to be named after a U.S. president. So Liberia and Washington DC, which is the capital city for America, those 2 capitals are the 2 capitals in the world to be named after an American president.
I know why people hate the presentation of this guy now. 659.
Liberia, again, it is a Christian nation. And also there are 2 religions that are practiced widely practiced in Liberia, which is Christianity and Islam. Okay? The reason why they see Christianity amount for 85% of the population, while Islam is about 12.2%. Okay, now, the purpose of bringing those free slaves, okay, it was based on Christian belief. They believe that those humans that were working for another human, like animals, it wasn't good in their own nature. As a result, they decided to free those slaves. So most of the slaves that came, they were all Christians. And that's how the population of Liberia today, for Christians, is about 85%, which is almost like
Amanda, you're not in class.
利比亚呢是一个基督教的国家，他们国家的主要有2种，一种呢是
To explain it.
Yeah, he's explaining and we take all those 50 something whatever.
然后伊斯兰教的占比是12.20%，它的国土陆地面积呢有43000平方米，然后它的海岸线面积呢是580公里，然后它的总人口有2%。
Okay, the population of Liberia is about 5 million. Liberia is a small country. Okay, I think Sanming and Liberia should be equal in terms of population. Some say Fijian province should be equal to Liberia in terms of population. So that will tell you how very little it is in terms of people that live there. And the land area of Liberia is about 43,000 square miles. It's very little. The coastline of Liberia is about 580 kilometers. This coastline is mainly composed of beaches. Those are some of the things that always surround Liberia. There are beautiful beaches.
Beaches,
Beautiful beaches.
yeah.
Liberia have a lot of beautiful beaches.
You find them in Liberia.
There are 15 counties in Liberia, like in China you call it province.
A lot of beaches.
There are 15 counties in Liberia. Here you see there are 15 counties. Come to the languages spoken in Liberia. I think from my utterance you know that in Liberia we speak English. But then the English that is spoken in Liberia is much different from the English that is spoken in Great Britain. So like you see that the official language of Liberia is English. There are also 16 indigenous languages that are spoken in Liberia.
Kala. Oh, brother. It's Ramsey's phone. Amanda. Motherfucker, come here.
Okay, among the 16 indigenous languages that are spoken in
Amanda,
Liberia,
help your Samsung,
we
brother.
have just 2 that are taught in universities, which is Liberian and Liberian. Liberian they teach it in the university. I learned it, but I cannot speak it so well, so I use it.
You don't.
Okay, talking about the language in Liberia, prepare this video so that you can watch and learn what are those languages that are spoken in Liberia and how they sound. Because I know how I speak, some may find it a little bit difficult to understand how I speak, but there's a reason how I speak and how other countries who speak English sound. Yeah.
So in Liberia, they don't speak Creole like they do in Sierra Leone. And in Liberia, the people call it Kalukwa. That's what they call it. I don't know exactly what that means, but they call it Kalukwa. And it's another form of broken English, but it's not quite as deeply broken as Creole is. You know, they haven't thrown in quite as many new vocabulary words and grammar changes as with Creole, but they do speak very quickly, and I guess the easiest way to describe it is they cut off the ends of their words. Like, to say, where are you going? They say, what place are you going? Or, so like, what place are you going? Or what place are you going? They just cut off the last few letters of every word. And they throw the word ain't into their language as much as you can possibly think you can squeeze the word ain't in there. Like, I ain't know, like, I don't know, I ain't know what you're doing. And then let me, you know, like, or no, that's a little bit real, but they would say, like, anyway, and so it gets to the point where they're cutting it off so much and they're speaking so quickly that it can still be very hard when you're first arriving there to understand them. I remember when I was in Sierra Leone, or when I was in Liberia. When I was in Liberia, I had a companion that was brand new, straight from the United States. And I was training him in Liberia, and I remember going to sacrament meeting, and they were speaking this Kalukwa in sacrament meeting. Someone's out giving a talk or something in sacrament meeting, and my companion was just sitting there reading his scriptures because he couldn't understand the thing they were saying. I'm like, it's not that hard, you know. And but you know, I guess when you first get introduced to this Kalukwa, it's different enough that you still can have a little bit of a tricky time understanding it. But I would say that you pick up on it even faster than you do with Creole, because it's like I said, it's not as different from English as Creole is. And you know, and missionaries even learn how to speak it a little bit. But the great one thing about Liberia is that if you're from America, they can probably understand you just speaking normal English better than they could understand you in Sierra Leone, because Liberia is American colony. Whereas Sierra Leone is a British colony, so they have British influenced English. Liberia is an American colony, so they have American influenced English. And they really think that they sound like Americans. They're like, oh yeah, Liberia, we're the Americans. But their language is closer to American English than it is to British English. And so I remember when I was in Liberia, I had a companion from Ghana. And in Ghana is also a British colony. So Ghana also has kind of a British influenced English. And so when I was in Liberia, a native Liberian told me that they could understand my English better than they could understand my Ghanaian companion's English. And I was really flattered by that. I was like, oh, that's cool. That must be because, you know, the way that you speak is slightly more similar to the way that we speak in America. And so as far as you being understood in Liberia, it's a lot easier because of the language in America, the way that we speak English, and the accents that we put on words in English. Whereas in Sierra Leone, it's probably easier for them to understand the Ghanaian companions right off the bat because of where their language is influenced. And so yeah, communication in Liberia is not nearly, it's not, you know, doesn't take as long to learn as it does in Sierra Leone. But it's fun though. It's a fun language. Liberia has, you know, a lot of cultural similarities as well, but a lot of cultural differences too. So.
Okay, this is a missionary who was sharing his experience about the language in Liberia. Like he said, Liberian English is not different from that of the American English. So you find out that we have the accent of an American English than the British English. For those of you who study foreign language, you will know if an American he speak more faster than a British. So sometimes when I speak, you know, sometimes my friends say, what are you saying? Because I speak more faster. I don't know if you are experiencing it right now because I'm not just able to speak a little slow. Okay, because of the background of our English, which is from an American accent. Okay, so again, another part is American, we have Liberian, we have local English that we call Olokwa. Olokwa, like in Nigeria, you know, they have their local English. In Sierra Leone, they have their local English, which is called Bureau. In Liberia, you find out like if I want to tell you, come here, okay, come here. In Olokwa, let's say, come here, come here. Well, it's actually come here. Okay, come here. But then in Olokwa, we say come here. Okay. So now when I'm speaking, or like we're speaking, if you want to communicate with like we're so fast, you don't speak the standard English that all of us speak. Because we speak our local English, like maybe I want to say, I don't have time for you. I say, I ain't get time for you. I ain't get time for you. Also means I don't have time for you. I ain't get time for you. I ain't get time for you. I ain't get time for you. So the don't is turned to in. But then in the written English, you write I don't get time for you. Or I don't have time for you. But in English, we say I ain't get time for you. Like, again, if I see you, and I want to say, oh, hello, what's up? Which is, what is up? What's up with you? What is up with you? It's almost like asking you, how are you? But in Liberia, when we meet, we usually say, what's up? What's up? This also means, what's up? But because of our colloquial English, so we sometimes make a short and say, what's up? Which is spelled W-A-Z-U-P. What's up? You don't say up, you say so. So that's just a little education about English. So sometimes, mostly, my friends always like on campus, we try to ask, is it English you speak? And I tell them that yes, I speak English. But just like English pronunciation, I sometimes feel like I want to speak my colloquial English. Okay, even though you will understand, I sometimes try to explain to them. It's not English speak. Actually, it's English. You know, English accent is more than an American. Okay. Yeah, so moving forward, and you see that in Liberian English, there are different languages spoken in Liberia. We have Liberian English, which is similar to the American English. And for me, it's sometimes a little bit fake when I try to speak like an American, even though my English is like, you said, an American accent, like they say, how are you, how you doing, where you come from, you know, that soft American way of talking, that's no way of Liberian speaking, which is American English. And then we have, like I said, the Olokwa. The Olokwa is a vernacular Liberian English, like I was saying here. Okay, like maybe I want to say, how are you? I say, what's up? What's up? Yeah, but native Liberian will understand if I say, what's up? will say, oh yeah, I'm fine, I'm cool. Alright? But then if I want to speak stand-up English, like is there the American English, I will see you and I will say, how are you? Are you okay? You know, like an American, but for me, I just don't like to sound more like American. And also we have the American Liberian English. The American Liberian are those slaves that came to Liberia, who came from America. They have their own English that they speak. We also call them the Popo. And their English is more like vernacular Liberian English. Like to say, come here, the American Liberians will tell you, come here. Come here. Come here. American Liberian English. Come here. They will say, come here. Come here. Come here. Come here. Come here. Okay? Here is so, again, for me, I actually don't understand this English so well. I understand the Creole, the Poloqua English is also Liberian English, which is similar to American English. And also we have another language that is spoken in Liberia, which is called the Kisi. Kisi is one of the main language group. Kisi is my native language. My native language is called Kisi. In Kisi, to say hello, we say Isia. 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 Okay, we have the Median language, which include Bandi, Bele, Lomam, Bande, a language that is spoken by the Islamic religion. Yeah, but Islamic religion that is in my country, just in my lingo. And then we have the Kru language, which includes Bebo, Baso, Kran, Sapo, Kwa, and so forth. But I don't know how to speak this one, so I will just get it. What? Yeah. And then we have the Gola, of course, they also speak Gola. Okay? So now we move to national holidays in Liberia. At least you have known Liberia, how it was founded, the language that is spoken in Liberia, or the languages that are spoken in Liberia. Now we move to national holidays in Liberia.